welcome to yoga. My name's Brooke. We have a 30-minute class today, so all you're going to need is a mat and a space around you to practice. We're going to be focusing on some strengthening, doing a little plank series, some ab work, along with our stretching and our relaxation. So if you want to go ahead and find a comfortable position, we'll start seated on our mats, just allowing our eyes to fall heavy, getting comfortable, allowing yourself to bring awareness into your body. Taking some nice deep breaths, thinking about sitting up nice and tall, every vertebrae stacked right one on top of one another. And thinking about energy coming all the way from the top of your head to the sky, creating length, shoulders pressing away from our ears. And just taking some nice deep breaths here. Allowing our awareness to come into our body, doing a quick scan, finding any place that might be talking to us a little bit more today, anywhere we want to focus a little bit of extra attention on. Just trying to balance our inhale with our exhale. And bringing awareness back into our space, maybe starting by wiggling our fingers. We can roll out our wrists, rolling back our shoulders. And on our next inhale, bringing our arms up overhead, stretching nice and tall. And exhaling, bringing our arms back down to our side. Taking another inhale, bringing our arms up overhead. Exhaling, arms coming back down to our side. And taking one more breath, inhaling up. And this time when we exhale, allowing our right arm to fall to our mat. And feeling that stretch through our obliques, our shoulder pressing away from our ear. Taking a few deep breaths here. And on our next inhale, bringing our arms up overhead. Exhaling, dropping our left arm down to our mat, stretching up and over, feeling the length through our side, elbows lengthening, shoulders pressing away from our ears, fingertips reaching, and finding some deep breaths. And on our next inhale, bringing our arms up overhead. Exhaling, dropping one arm down to our mat, our other hand lightly tapping our head. And stretching out our neck, our shoulder pressing away from our ear, creating length in our necks. Just using that hand as a little extra weight, not pressing our necks too far. On our next inhale, bring our arms up overhead. Exhaling, dropping that opposite hand to your head. Finding our stretch in our neck. Focus is on our breath. Next inhale, bring our arms up overhead. Exhaling, twisting to one side, finding our spinal twist. And just using those hands for decoration, so not forcing our spine too far, just allowing it to twist and wake up. Again, stacking each vertebrae one on top of one another, sitting up nice and tall, creating space in between each vertebrae. And our next inhale, bringing our arms up overhead. Exhaling, twisting to the opposite side. Just placing our hands lightly either on our leg or on our mat. And one more. Inhale, bring our arms up overhead. Exhaling, finding our tabletop position, so swinging our legs around. And coming to all fours, Our knees are in line with our hips and our shoulders are in line with our wrist. Exhaling, finding our cat position, arching our back up to the sky. And inhaling, finding our cow, lowering our bellies down towards our mat. Exhaling when we lift. And inhaling when we lower, taking this at the pace of our own breath. And finding each position one more time. Coming back to our tabletop position, lifting our right hand up off the mat. And exhaling when we lower down. Switching, bringing our opposite hand up. And exhaling, lowering down. We have that option to stay here, or we can take it to our spinal balance. Opposite foot reaching behind us. And exhaling when we lower back down to our mat. Inhaling on our lift for our spinal balance. And exhaling to our mat. Keeping our core engaged and our hips are square every time we lift. And finding each side one more time. Energy coming from our fingertips all the way through our foot. And going back to that first side, lifting our hand and our foot. Exhaling, bringing our elbow to our knee. Inhaling, straightening out. Exhaling, tucking in, feeling our core engage even more. Trying to keep our back as flat as possible whenever we come back to our spinal balance. And finding one more. Exhaling, releasing our hand, releasing our knee, recentering ourselves, taking a moment, maybe rolling out our wrist. Until we lift that opposite foot and our opposite arm. Exhaling, tucking our knee in. Elbow meeting our knee. And extending out. Feeling our shoulders warming up. And finding this position one more time. And releasing back down to our mat, shifting our weight back, finding our child's pose. Moving into our half series or our modified sun salutation. Inhaling, shifting our weight forward for our kneeling plank. Exhaling, lowering down. Inhaling, just lifting our chest up off the mat. And exhaling, shifting back to our child's pose. Taking this at the pace of our own breath. Inhaling, shifting forward. Exhaling when we lower down. Inhaling, coming halfway up. And exhaling, shifting back. Finding this 2 more times all the way through. And finding our child's pose. Taking a moment here. And whenever we're ready, tucking our toes, straightening our legs up, finding our downward facing dog. Energy coming through our heels towards the floor. We can walk out our knees here a little bit, alternating, bending one knee at a time. Whenever we're ready, stepping one foot forward through our hands, bringing our back foot to meet our front, keeping our back nice and flat, reverse swan dive, standing all the way up, and exhaling, lowering our arms, rolling our shoulders back and finding our mountain pose, chest is lifted, feeling rooted in our feet. Moving into our full sun salutation, inhaling, arms come up overhead. Exhaling, keeping our back flat, hinging at the hips for our forward fold. Inhaling, coming halfway up, keeping our back flat for our monkey. Exhaling, hands come to our mat, and we find our downward facing dog. Inhaling, shifting forward either to our full plank or our kneeling plank. Exhaling, just bending our elbows and hinging at the hips, lowering down. Inhaling, option to come to full cobra, keeping our elbows slightly bent, or lifting our thighs up off the ground for our upward facing dog. Tucking our toes, finding our downward facing dog. Stepping one foot into our lunge, bringing our back foot to meet our front, and finding our reverse swan dive. Exhaling, sinking back into our chair. Flowing through our full sun salutation 2 more times all the way through. Taking this at the pace of our own breath. Trying to stay intentional with each of our movements. Each of them has a purpose. Feeling heat building within our body. And whenever we're through holding our chair pose, so our weight is shifted back into our heels, our toes are light on our mat. Whenever we're ready, stepping one foot back, finding our warrior one. So our nice high lunge, arms are straight, parallel up overhead, shoulders pressing away from our ears. Whenever we look down at our mat, we should only be able to see our big toe. Our knee is right in line with our ankle. And slightly hinging forward at our hips, bringing our hands to heart center. We're twisting towards our front leg and placing our elbow on our thigh. A little bit of a balance challenge, keeping our ankles strong. Energy pressing into each palm, active in our position. On our next exhale, releasing our arms, coming back to our warrior one. Opening up to face the long side of our mat, finding our warrior two, so our back foot is parallel with the short side of our mat. Our front toe is pointing straight forward, knee is right in line with our ankle. Finding our reverse warrior, flipping our palm, lifting up and over. Energy coming from both legs, like we're trying to rip our mat in half. And exhaling, releasing our arm, coming back to our warrior two. Taking our elbow, our forearm to our thigh, finding our side angle. We have the option to keep it here, deepening that stretch. We can bring our bottom arm straight forward like we're serving a platter, focusing on that strength. Or bring it to our extended side angle, pushing our elbow or our knee back with our elbow. Hovering over our mat. Attention on our breath. And exhaling, coming back to our warrior two, straightening both legs, Both toes are turning so they're facing the corner of our mat. Arms are up overhead in our star. Exhaling, lowering down, finding our wide squat position. I'm just holding this here. Lots of strength, embracing those shakes. Shoulders are rolled back, chest is lifted. If we'd like a little bit more, we can lift our heels up off of our mat and find our balancing position here. Focus is on our breath. And on our next exhale, releasing our legs, coming back to our star. Taking a big inhale and exhaling, finding our warrior two. Turning to face the front of our mat, finding our warrior one. Exhaling, we're bending our elbows 90 degrees and twisting towards that front leg. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling, twisting our spine. Inhaling, lifting up. Finding this 2 more times. Exhaling, little twist. And one more, bending our elbows down. Shifting our weight forward. Rolling our shoulders back, finding our mountain pose. Taking a moment to recenter here. Catching our breath. And whenever we're ready, we're finding that opposite side, our warrior one. So I'm going to turn this way so y'all can still see me. Arms are up overhead, parallel. Shoulders pressing away from our ears. And slightly hinging forward at our hips, bringing our hands to heart center. We're twisting our upper body, placing our elbow right above our knee. You might find that one side feels a little bit more comfortable than other. That's okay. We're trying to work on that balance, balancing our body, building that strength. Trying to keep our focus on our breath. Our chest is opening. And on our exhale, releasing our arms, coming back to our warrior one. Opening up our chest, facing the long side of our mat this time, and finding our warrior two. Again, when we look down at that front leg, our knee is right in line with our ankle, our chest is open. Back foot parallel with the short side of our mat. Turning our front palm up and finding our reverse warrior. Again, thinking about our neck lengthening and our shoulder pressing away from our ear. Exhaling, releasing our arms. Cartwheeling up and over and finding our side angle. So again, we have those options to either stay here. We can extend our bottom arm out if we're more strength focused today. Or we can bring it to our extended side angle and pushing our knee back with our elbow, opening up our chest, shoulders stacked right one on top of another. And just picking our focus, energy coming from both of our feet like we're trying to stretch our mat. And exhaling, releasing our arms, straightening both legs, turning your toes to face the corners of your mat. Inhaling, coming up for our star. Exhaling, lowering down for our wide squat. our next inhale, bringing our arms up and over. Exhaling, just tilting at the hips and finding our wide straddle stretch. So we can change up how our toes are facing here. They can either stay pointing to the corners of our mat, or you can turn them to be straight. Just allowing ourselves to relax into our stretch. On your next breath, keeping our back flat, reverse swan dive, extending all the way up. And exhaling, releasing our arms, turning to find our warrior one. Shifting our weight forward and finding our mountain pose. Rolling our shoulders back, chest is lifted. Taking this time, we're going to flow through our full sun salutation one more time. So if you're not at the top of your mat, you can move there if you'd like. Inhaling, bringing our arms up and over. Maybe taking this a little bit slower. Allowing our body to stretch. Slowing down that breath. Whenever we meet in our plank, let's take a moment to hold it here. We can either hold that high plank or our kneeling plank. And whenever we're ready, stepping one foot forward, dropping that opposite knee back down on our mat. We have that option to stay here and feeling that stretch in our hip flexor. Or we can sit up nice and tall. We also have that option to bring our arms up overhead. If we'd like to deepen that stretch a little bit more, we can bring our hands back to heart center and placing our elbow right above our knee. Twisting to face our chest towards that front leg. Exhaling, releasing our arms, untwisting, placing them back on the mat. Tucking our back toe and finding our three-legged dog. Exhaling, tucking one knee into our chest and releasing, finding our three-legged dog. Tucking in, finding this 2 more times. Extending back, lowering our foot down, finding our downward facing dog. Shifting forward to our plank. And stepping our opposite foot forward for our lunge. And dropping our back knee down. Again, options with those hands. Keep them on our mat. Lifting up nice and tall. Arms up overhead. Or twisting our upper body. Focus on our breath and feeling our stretch in our hip flexor. Our next exhale, releasing our arms back to our mat, tucking our back toe, and finding our three-legged dog. Shifting forward to that plank position, tucking our knee in, and lifting back. Trying to keep our hips square, and our shoulders right in line with our wrists. And finding this 2 more times. Lowering our leg down, finding our downward facing dog. Option to walk out our knees here a little bit. And shifting our weight forward, finding our high plank or our kneeling plank. Exhaling, lowering down to our mat. Inhaling, lifting up for our full cobra or our upward facing dog. This time shifting our weight back, finding our child's pose. Whenever we're ready, sitting it up, swinging our legs around, finding one more stretch before we go into our final relaxation. Inhaling, bringing our arms up overhead, and exhaling, forward fold, seated, keeping our back nice and flat. So instead of thinking about hunching over and trying to get our chest to our knees, we're thinking about getting our stomach onto our thighs. Feeling our stretch in our hamstrings. Taking a few more deep breaths here. And whenever you're ready, releasing your arms, finding a comfortable position for our final relaxation. We can lay it all the way flat. Tuck our knees in and allow them to fall into center, or find our butterfly. Lots of options. We can also take any poses that we didn't get the chance to get to today. Just allowing our eyes to fall heavy. Take these final couple moments for yourself. Bringing our attention back to our breath. Relaxing heavy, falling into our mat. Starting to wake up our body, rolling out our wrists, rolling out our ankles, maybe taking a big good morning stretch, reaching our arms up overhead, energy coming all the way through our fingertips, through our body, and into the bottom of our feet. Picking your favorite side to roll over to. We can use our arm as a pillow. Taking another moment here. And slowly pushing ourselves up. Finding a seated position, taking one more big inhale up overhead. And exhaling, allowing your hands to fall to heart center. Allowing ourselves to be thankful for everything that we've done today. Thank you all so much for coming and practicing with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. The light in me honors the light in each and every one of you. Namaste.